For thousands of cycles, the galactic ascendancy ruled the stars without challenge. Their fleets stretched across 1 million systems, their technology so advanced that lesser civilizations worshipped them like gods. Across the known galaxy, ancient archives spoke of countless races that had risen and fallen beneath ascendancy rule, but among those forgotten species, one name remained buried deeper than all others: humanity. The stories described humans as violent creatures born on a death world of storms, predators, and endless war. Some claimed they destroyed themselves long ago. Others believed the ascendancy had exterminated them after a conflict too terrible to record. Over centuries, the truth faded into myth, becoming little more than a warning whispered among scholars and military commanders. Then the fleet arrived. It began near the outer mining systems of Velker Ridge, where deep space scanners detected unidentified vessels emerging from dark space. The ascendancy dismissed the contact immediately. Pirates, perhaps. Smugglers. Nothing capable of threatening Imperial territory. High Commander Thex ordered a single battle cruiser to intercept. The crew laughed when the unknown ships appeared on screen. Their hulls looked primitive, forged from thick armored steel rather than elegant energy composites. Their engines burned with violent blue fire, leaving scars across space itself. "They fight with relics," one officer mocked. Then the transmission arrived. "We are humanity. Withdraw or face extinction." Silence consumed the bridge. Thex narrowed his glowing eyes. "Impossible," he whispered. The humans accelerated first. The Ascendancy cruiser unleashed plasma fire powerful enough to erase cities, but the human vessels moved with terrifying precision, twisting through explosions like hunters weaving through rain. Seconds later, kinetic rounds slammed into Imperial shields. The impacts overloaded defensive systems instantly. Warning sirens screamed. Another human ship fired a barrage of missiles that pierced directly through the cruiser's reactor core. Fire erupted across the command deck. Officers vanished beneath collapsing metal as alarms echoed endlessly. The battle lasted 11 minutes. Not one human ship was destroyed. Across nearby systems, terrified survivors carried the same impossible message. Humanity was real. Humanity had survived. And after centuries hidden beyond the edge of known space, they had finally returned for vengeance against the empire that once tried to erase them forever from history itself. Fear spread across the galactic ascendancy faster than light itself. Entire sectors descended into panic as reports confirmed the impossible truth. Human warships were appearing everywhere along Imperial borders, striking supply routes, destroying shipyards, and vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. For the first time in recorded history, the Empire no longer looked invincible. Inside the capital world of Zirin Prime, the High Council gathered beneath towering holograms displaying burning fleets and conquered colonies. Supreme Chancellor Vaylor stood silently at the center chamber while military commanders argued in desperation. "Their ships are outdated," Admiral Kryn insisted. "Primitive weapons cannot defeat Imperial technology." "They already have," another officer snapped. Vaylor turned toward the intelligence division. "Tell me everything we know about the humans." Director Celis hesitated nervously. "Very little remains in public archives. Most records were erased thousands of years ago." Erased by whom? No one answered. The silence alone terrified the chamber. Meanwhile, the humans advanced deeper into Imperial territory. Unlike other civilizations, they ignored diplomacy entirely. They attacked fuel depots, communication relays, and military factories with terrifying efficiency. Entire fleets disappeared without warning. Human commanders fought unpredictably, using strategies no modern empire had encountered for centuries. Worst of all were the ground invasions. On the industrial planet Karath 9, Imperial soldiers expected frightened civilians and weak resistance. Instead, human shock troops descended from orbit inside armored drop pods that smashed directly into military districts. They fought through smoke and fire with ruthless precision, clearing entire battalions street by street. Imperial drones failed against them. Artificial intelligence systems collapsed under human cyber warfare. And human soldiers never retreated. They fight like predators, one survivor whispered before dying from his wounds. Then the truth emerged. Deep beneath restricted archives, Chancellor Vaylor uncovered classified records sealed by the Empire's founders. Thousands of years earlier, humanity had not vanished naturally. The Ascendancy itself had hunted them across the galaxy. Human colonies were burned. Entire worlds exterminated. Billions erased. The founders feared humanity because humans adapted faster than every known species. They survived impossible conditions, mastered warfare rapidly, and refused surrender even against overwhelming odds. So the ancient rulers attempted genocide, but they failed. Vaylor stared at the ancient footage of burning human cities and finally understood the horrifying reality. Humanity had not returned to conquer the galaxy. Humanity had returned to deliver judgment. The end of the galactic ascendancy began 3 days later when human fleets appeared above Ziran Prime without warning. Imperial defenses activated instantly as thousands of warships rose to protect the capital, but panic already consumed the command structure. Humanity had bypassed every outer defense line with terrifying ease. The skies above the planet turned red with fire. Massive human dreadnoughts emerged through the clouds like ancient monsters reborn from legend. Rail cannons thundered across orbit, tearing Imperial cruisers apart before they could even lock targets. Burning debris rained onto the capital cities below, while civilians flooded the streets in terror. Inside the central war chamber, Chancellor Vaylor watched the destruction unfold in silence. "We still have the planetary annihilation protocol," Admiral Kryn said desperately. "If we destroy the planet, the humans lose everything." Vaylor closed his eyes. Billions of his own people would die. Before he could answer, explosions shook the chamber doors apart. Human soldiers entered through smoke and flames, their black armor scarred from battle. At their center walked a gray-haired commander carrying no weapon at all. His cold eyes locked onto Vaylor instantly. "You know why we are here," the human said calmly. Vaylor nodded slowly. "Our ancestors feared you, and they murdered us for it." The room fell silent except for distant explosions outside. For a moment Vaylor expected rage or hatred, but the human commander showed neither. His expression carried only certainty. "You destroyed our worlds," the human continued. "You erased our history. You hunted our survivors across the stars." Vaylor lowered his head. "Then this is revenge." "No," the commander replied. "This is justice." Hours later, the Imperial government ceased to exist. The Ascendancy fleets surrendered across the galaxy after receiving a single transmission from Ziran Prime. The message spread to every colony and every conquered species. "The Empire has fallen," the human commander announced. "Humanity does not seek rulers or slaves. We came only for those responsible." Images followed showing imprisoned military leaders and liberated worlds celebrating in the streets. For the first time in centuries, the galaxies stood free from Imperial rule. And across countless systems, terrified civilizations finally understood why ancient races once feared humanity enough to erase them from history. Because humanity never forgot. And humanity never forgave.